everyone, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha and today I'm going to be doing a book haul. 99% of these books are going to be from Book Outlet, so this is kind of a Book Outlet book haul, but I do have a couple other books here as well. Some from Amazon, some from authors, and some from some of my friends. So I guess this is kind of like just an overall book haul, but definitely more Book Outlet focused. If you don't know about Book Outlet, I highly recommend checking them out. They are a website that offers overstocked books for cheaper prices, and I absolutely love them. I try to kind of like rein it in and only buy from them 3 times a year, but I'm pretty sure I've already bought from them like 3 or 4 times this year already, so there's that. When I say that Book Outlet has cheap prices, I mean you can literally get a hardcover book for like $7, $8, $9 that's in pretty much brand new condition. They do have overstocked books or bargain books, and usually the only thing, let me grab one of them and show you an example. So typically they'll only have like a dot or a line or something on the pages, but there's nothing on the front covers or the spine or anything like that. So I highly recommend checking out Book Outlet because you can get lots of books for really cheap, and we all know that we need bargain books when we are bookaholics like we are. So definitely check them out. If you do want to try out Book Outlet, I do have a link down below where you can get $10 off your first order, and then of course I do get a perk as well. I will get some points towards my future purchases that I can use as well. But definitely check them out. You get free shipping if you spend at least $35 or more, which I always do because who doesn't want free shipping? But I think it's just $5 if you don't get enough books for free shipping. But I mean, like, again, bookaholics, why would we not? By the way, this video is not sponsored by Book Outlet. I just love them and decided that I would just kind of put in a shameless plug for them here. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the haul. The first book that I want to share with you today is not from Book Outlet, but it's from my friend Liv from Liv's Library, and she got me The Secret Garden, the graphic novel adaptation, and I'm really excited to get to this one. I have been trying to put it off because I want to savor it, but I'm very excited to read it. The illustrations look really cute, and you guys know that I read The Secret Garden earlier this year and fell in love with the story, so I'm kind of obsessed at this point and just kind of wanting to accumulate Secret Garden things. But yes, thank you, Liv, so much for sending this to me. This was such a thoughtful gift and a sweet surprise. I'm very excited to get to it and dive back into the world of The Secret Garden. Speaking of The Secret Garden, I might have a problem because I also bought myself from Amazon The Secret Garden on 81st Street by Ivy Noel Weir and illustrated by Amber Padilla. This book, I've already read it, and it was so stinking good. I was so surprised because this is a modern graphic novel retelling of The Secret Garden. The illustrations in here are absolutely beautiful. I love them so much. I love graphic novels. You guys know this. If you don't know this about me already, graphic novels are just like chef's kiss. I love them. So this was a really big surprise for me because I got this on Libby and decided to read it just through my library to see if I would like it, and then I fell in love with it and I was like, okay, I've got to buy this because this is amazing. I know when we do modern retellings of classics, you just kind of never know, is this going to be good or not? And I feel like this really held to the story well. I love how the modern day views of anxiety were shown through this, and I don't know. If you know the story of The Secret Garden, it's basically the same thing. It's just adding in modern technology, modern thought, just different things like that. So definitely check this one out if you haven't already. It was 5 out of 5 stars for me. I love it so much. So I'm glad that I got it. Next up, I got an ARC sent to me from the author, and that is going to be Monsters in the Mist by Juliana Brandt. I was very excited when Juliana posted about her ARCs available, and I happened to be able to snag one. This comes out on May 3rd, so I do plan to try to read this before its release. I'm going to go ahead and read the back of the book because I haven't seen this much of a synopsis for it yet, so this is going to be both a treat for me and for you. When Glennon McHugh moves into a lighthouse on a mysterious island, he must figure out why those who visit are never heard from again before he and his family fall victim to the island's curse. After Glennon McHugh's father takes an overseas position, Glennon finds himself relocated from Minneapolis to his uncle's lighthouse on Isle Filippo? I don't know how to say that. Smack dab in the middle of Lake Superior. Surrounded by nothing but black, ominous waters, there are many stories about the island, but the worst one is that sailors wash ashore and are never seen again. Just before his family is supposed to move home, a storm rocks the isle and a ship crashes outside the lighthouse. The survivors seem off, especially one sailor who acts more like a monster than a person. Suddenly, Glennon finds himself in the middle of a real-life scary story, and unless he can figure out the mystery of the island, he and his family will be lost forever too. So, You guys know already, I love my spooky middle grade books, so I'm very excited to check this one out. Then I got a couple more books from Amazon, and the first one is The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. You guys know, I've already read this book. I did a vlog on it. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it down below, but my goodness, did this book leave an impact on me. I'm still reeling from it. I tabbed it. It was great. It's about this man named Ted who is an alcoholic, and he also has gaps in his memory. It's also about this cat named Olivia who reads the Bible and loves to nap. It's about this girl who can't go outside, not after last time, and she ends up being Ted's daughter. And there's also a couple other different perspectives in this book, but it's kind of revolving around this mystery of the popsicle girl. Her name was Lulu, and she went missing all these years ago, and nobody knows what happened to her. Her sister Dee Dee has a perspective in this book as well, and Dee Dee is trying to figure out what happened to her sister. And of course, like, Ted becomes a prime suspect, but then it makes you wonder, was it Olivia? Was it Lauren? Was it somebody else? You don't know. This is a psychological horror. It was so good. So definitely check this one out if you haven't already, but look up the triggers just in case, because it is psychological, but it is so good. And the next one, I'm just going to be honest with you, I don't remember what it's about, and I don't want to read the synopsis right now, but I feel like most people know what The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker is about. This is a romance. I don't read a lot of romance, but I'm going to read this one because for the longest time, this has been on my list. And now I feel like it's become more popular, and I hate that. Like, I wish I would have read it before it became more popular, but this has been on my list for a very long time, and I don't know what it is about it, but something has just drawn me to this book. And also, y'all know that I don't read a lot of smut. I don't really read smut. I don't like smutty books. I like my romances light and fluffy and no smut, because I like to leave something to the imagination. But then on the back of this book, it says, a master of steamy romance. What have I gotten myself into? The last book that I got from Amazon, on a different note, is a nonfiction book called Find Your People, Building Deep Community in a Lonely World by Jenny Allen. This is a book that I'm currently buddy reading with my friends Lauren, Elizabeth, and Liv, and I'm really enjoying going through this and just kind of seeing Jenny's view on friendship, and it's kind of like from a godly perspective because Jenny Allen is a Christian author. So I'm really enjoying seeing how God has intended friendships and relationships to be, and just how to grow good, healthy friendships. So very excited to have this one and continue reading it. And now we're gonna get into the book outlet portion of this video. So the first book I have is Kill All Your Darlings by David Bell. I'm hoping to read this book this month. I don't know if I'm going to or not because I'm kind of a little bit behind on my reading, but this just sounded really interesting to me. I have been looking at it since before its release last year or a couple of years ago. I don't quite remember when the release was, but it's been on my radar for a while, and I decided that I would just go ahead and get it because it just sounds good. It's about this English professor who has just published his first novel, and it's a thriller, but it's not his manuscript. He stole his student's manuscript who went missing and published the book as his own, and now that student is back and she is mad. And also there's like this investigation that opens up around this English professor because it seems like this novel has implicated him in a murder or in murders on this campus. I know this book is supposed to explore sexual assault on college campuses and how that is dealt with, and how sometimes it is kind of pushed to the side and covered up for the sake of the universities. So I'm very excited to dive into this. I hope that it's going to be a good one, but I am a little hesitant just because I know the subject matter is a little bit heavy, but hopefully this will be a good one for me. Next, I have a couple of young adult novels, which I don't often collect. So, you know, these two must sound good to me if I own them. So this one is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. This one has been on my TBR for a very long time, and I decided it was time for me to own it. I like spooky books, and this just screams spooky to me, so I wanted to check it out. I don't really remember a lot about it. I just know it's about this girl named Wren, and the only thing she cares about is her family and her family's graveyard, and now her family has passed away, and she is trying to take care of the graveyard. I believe that their estate or this graveyard or something has been buried on top of like old Fae land, and I know there's like, it says something about nothing stays buried forever, or the dead don't always stay dead. And so there are risen corpses that are called bone houses, and legend says that they're the result of an old curse. And then Ellis, this like apprentice map maker, comes to town, and he and Wren are trying to find out how to get the dead to rest, I guess, or how to figure out like what's going on. I don't really know. It just sounds spooky. It said graveyard and bones, and you know, creepy things, so I had to pick it up. The next one is Don't Tell a Soul by Kirsten Miller. I haven't heard anybody talk about this one. It was getting a little bit of hype before its release, but then I think it kind of died down. But I mean, there is so much about this that like screams pick me up. I mean, this cover alone, and then on the back it says all the best ghosts are girls. Like, I don't know. So this says, people say the house is cursed. It preys on the weak, and young women are its favorite victims. In Louth, they're called the Dead Girls. All Bram wanted is to disappear from her old life, from her family's past, and from the scandal that continues to haunt her. The only place left to go is Louth, the tiny town on the Hudson River where her uncle James has been renovating an old mansion. But James is haunted by his own ghost. Months ago, his beloved wife died in a fire that people say was set by her daughter. The tragedy has left James a shell of the man Bram knew and destroyed half of the house he so lovingly restored. The manor is creepy, and so are the locals. The people of Louth don't want outsiders like Bram in their town, and with each passing day she's discovering that the rumors they spread are just as disturbing as the secrets they hide. Most frightening of all are the legends they tell about the dead girls, girls whose lives were cut short in the very house Bram now calls home. The terrifying reality is that the dead girls may have never left the manor, and if Bram looks too hard into the town's haunted past, she might not leave either. So, this just sounds good. I don't know why nobody's talking about it. Maybe it's a crappy book. I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to decide for myself because it sounds too good to pass up. Oh, I also got this really cute bookmark from Book Outlet as well. It's actually an out-of-print bookmark, but I just thought it was too cute. And, you know that I don't really need bookmarks, but I do like to collect them. And I love the ones with tassels, and I just don't have very many of them. So I had to get this one because I thought it was super cute. And you know how I was talking about like my obsession with the Secret Garden? Like, I might have, you know, just like, I already have the Secret Garden, but I wanted this one. Because look at this. Like, is this not the most gorgeous? Like, I mean, they're all the most gorgeous, but I didn't realize this was like a just hard outer box. And then it looks like this. You guys, like this, I had to have it, okay? I'm not going to collect like every single edition of the Secret Garden, maybe, but I did want to collect a couple, and this is one that I just wanted to have. Look at the artwork in this. This is absolutely beautiful. The other one I have is more of like a classic look to it, and this one is more of like a modern artwork, and I love it so much. I don't want to like spoil all the pictures for myself, but I will show a couple just because I think it's just really pretty and I love it so much. I want to see one of the garden, but it's fine. I just love this so much. So I'm very excited to have it. This is like a cloth bound, and then it comes in this cute little box. So I might have a slight obsession with the Secret Garden, but you know, it's fine. I also read Pages & Co. The Book Wanderers this past month by Anna James, and I really ended up liking the first book, and it's the first in a series, so I decided to get more. So I ended up getting The Lost Fairy Tales and The Map of Stories, which are books 2 and 3 in the series. I am hoping that these are still as good as the first one because the first one was so good. Essentially, we are following Tilly Pages, who lives in Pages & Co., the bookstore, with her grandparents. Her mom left all these years ago, and nobody knows where her mom went and why she left. So Tilly is growing up with her grandparents, and one day she sees Anne of Green Gables and Alice in Wonderland in the stacks, and she's like, wait a second. Are these customers or are these book characters? And Tilly finds out about book wandering through all of this, and it's just a really sweet, fun, magical story with great life lessons, and honestly, it just makes me smile, and it makes me feel like somebody's giving me a warm hug. So I definitely had to pick up books 2 and 3 in the series also. Then I picked up a graphic novel that I've heard so many good things about, and that is Lightfall, The Girl in the Galdurian by Tim Probert. I did not know that this was going to be a series, but it says book 1. I probably should have figured that out. But book 2 is coming out soon, so I had to get this one and check it out. This looks like a really fun fantasy story, and I am digging this artwork. Again, I love good artwork. So I don't really remember what this is about. It says, in the land of Urpa, an ancient threat awakens, obsessed with plunging the world into eternal darkness. Luckily, chance enlists 2 unsuspecting heroes to save the day. So that's all I know. I don't want to know too much going into it because I don't want to spoil myself, but this definitely looks like a good one. Then I had to pick up a couple of Emma Carroll books because I love Emma Carroll. You guys, I read Letters from the Lighthouse, and it was phenomenal. One of the best historical fiction middle grades I've ever read. So I had to pick up When We Were Warriors and Secrets of the Sun King. And I also have Strange Star coming because that is going to be the group read for mine and Ashley's BOOKAthon readathon. So if you don't know about that, check out the link in the comments down below if you are interested in spooky middle grade books. But I'm very excited to read more from Emma Carroll. She is the queen of middle grade historical fiction, so I'm very excited to read some more. This one, When We Were Warriors, takes place in the summer of 1942. Air raids, rationing, the threat of invasion, everyday life in wartime Britain is pretty grim and often pretty dull. That's what Stanley thinks anyway, until his home is bombed and he's evacuated to a remote old house with the mysterious name Frost Hollow Hall. It's what Olive thinks too, until she finds a body washed up on the beach at Budmouth Point. Velvet just wishes she could be useful, and when the air raid warden brings in a band that pulls all the pets in peril, she grabs her chance. 3 thrilling stories about 3 different children who find adventure, courage, untrainable dogs, and an impossibly tall American GI where they least expect it. Also, this mentioned Frost Hollow Hall, which is one of Emma Carroll's other books, so now I feel like I need to get that book and read that one before this one. But this one takes place during World War II. This one takes place in London, 1922. A discovery from ancient Egypt, a cursed package, the untold story of a young pharaoh. So this just sounds like a really fun adventure story that might have some historical elements as well. But I love Emma Carroll. And then Strange Star, like I mentioned, is for BOOKAthon, the group read. And so I got that one, and it is, all I really remember is that it is a gothic thriller type story. It's got historical elements, and it's also based around Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, so I'm very excited about that one. I also have another book coming, but I don't remember the author's name, and I think the book is called The Silent Companions, but I saw somebody share this on Instagram the other day, and the cover just really piqued my interest, and then I couldn't find the cover anywhere, so I had to order it from, like, I don't even know, eBay. I think I ordered it from eBay because I had to have this cover. I don't remember what it's about off the top of my head, but if this looks interesting to you, check it out, because I think it's like a gothic, psychological, historical type book. And I read the first 10 pages on Goodreads, because sometimes I'll do that. I'll hit the preview button on Goodreads to just kind of read the first couple of pages to see if this is going to be a writing style that I like, if it's a book that I'd be interested in. And I didn't want to stop reading it. I'm just saying, it starts out like in this psych ward, I think. So I had to get this book. So it's coming. It's not here yet, but if this piqued your interest, I just wanted to share it with you. Then I got the book that everybody's talking about, The Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. Will I like this book? I don't know. But I got it. I'm questionable if I like it because it's fantasy, and I know this is about a girl named Sophie who finds out she's an elf, I think. Spoiler question mark? I don't know, but everybody says that when they say the synopsis, so sorry if that was a spoiler. But yeah, I don't really know. This girl, I think she has powers. I don't know anything about it. These books are super thick. I don't know why I'm trying to start a series, because I'm not good with series, but we'll see. I don't know anything about this book except that everybody loves it, so I got it to try to give it a try, which is the same thing I did with Nevermore, and I still haven't read Nevermore. So yeah, I need to read Nevermore before I read this one, but we'll see. Hopefully I will like this, and if not, I can pass it along to some of my book club kiddos. Then I got another book in a series. What is wrong with me? Like, I don't read series, you guys, but I got The Crooked Sixpence by Jennifer Bell, which, again, I'll pass along to my kiddos if I don't like it. I pick up a lot of middle grade books that I'm not sure about just because I like to have books to share with my kids. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to try to read this one first, though, just because I have it, and I don't know what it's about, but there's a kid that looks like he is riding a vacuum cleaner, which kind of reminds me of Hocus Pocus, so I don't know what this is about. There's a girl named Ivy Sparrow, and she is in this town called Londonor, which is a secret underground city where uncommon buttons can mend headaches, uncommon bells chime in to offer directions, and uncommon vacuum cleaners are perfect if you need to make a clean getaway. So it sounds like there's a bunch of uncommon things or backwards things in this town, and there is an evil guild that is tormenting the town, and he's kidnapped Ivy's parents. She has to get them back, and in order to do so, she has to uncover the greatest uncommon treasure of them all. If only she knew what she was looking for. So, this sounds cute and adventurous, and oh, it has pictures. Well, look at that. I just got more interested. Look at that. We love illustrations, right? So, maybe I'll like this. I don't know. You guys need to let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know in the comments, like, do you think I'll like these? Then I got The Boy, the Boat, and the Beast by Samantha M. Clark, which I am also, this is the same situation as the past two books. I'm intrigued by, but I'll pass along to my kiddos if I need to. This just looks super interesting because it's like a survival story, but then you got like this creepy thing that I first thought was like a tree, but it looks like a little alligator monster thing with his little eye right there. I don't know. This boy wakes up alone on this island. It's like a survival story. He doesn't have his memory. Something is watching and waiting for him. So, I don't know. It sounds creepy. It's kind of short. Probably going to read this for BOOKAthon. So, okay, I've got about 4 books left, and I have read all of these books already. So, I will just go ahead and share a few thoughts with you. I do have Cece's Journal, The Adventures of a Writer in Training by George Chamberlain and Aurélie Naret. I don't know how to say their names. They're French. I apologize. I do the best I can, but I also have the second book, which is Cece's Journal, Lost and Found. These are freaking incredible graphic novels that you need to read if you haven't already. I cannot explain them. They are contemporary. Do not let that deter you. I don't read contemporary books very often, but the artwork in these is beautiful. The stories in these will move you to tears. Yeah, it's incredible. Cece is just going through a lot. I don't want to show any pictures that are going to spoil anything, so I'm trying to like flip. But the artwork, this is like some of my favorite artwork that I've ever seen in books. This one has part 1 and part 2. This one has parts 3, 4, and 5. And they're just little different stories that Cece tells through her journals and through her life. So you've got journal snippets, you've got graphic novel snippets, and you've got some stories that are going to tug at your heartstrings, and they are just absolutely incredible. Then I finally bought The Lion of Mars by Jennifer L. Holm. This was one of my favorite middle grade books of last year. It is sci-fi, and it follows our main character, whose name is Belle, and Belle lives on this settlement on Mars, but his settlement doesn't really communicate with these other settlements, and he doesn't really understand why. Then everybody that's an adult gets sick on board, and it's up to Belle and the kids to kind of save them. So this was a really cool story. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, and this one was a good one. I do think the pacing was a little off. Like, it's kind of slow starting out, and then the end was really fast, but I did really enjoy this, so I look forward to picking up more from this author. And the last book that I have is The Ghoul Next Door by Cullen Bunn and Kat Ferris. This took me by surprise. I love spooky middle grades and I love graphic novels. This is both. And I didn't know if I was going to like it. I wasn't super crazy about the artwork at first, but then I kind of realized how important it was to the story. And y'all, this is good. This is really good. I loved it so much. I read it on Libby once again through my library and ended up buying it because I loved it so much. So if you have not checked out The Ghoul Next Door and you like spooky middle grades and graphic novels, check it out. It follows 11-year-old Gray. He lives in the legend-haunted New England town of Anders Landing, and he can't help but feel like a pair of eyes are watching his every move. So, check it out. All right, that is all of the books that are going to be in this haul today. Like I said, I do have a couple coming, but I just couldn't wait to do the haul because I've been accumulating these books for quite some time now. There are probably some books that I've hauled that I've missed actually hauling in a video, so I apologize. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found some books that piqued your interest today, maybe some new ones that you hadn't heard of before that you want to get your hands on. Let me know down in the comments what is a book that you have hauled recently that you're really excited to get to. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.